$100 on supplies. Well, then it's an upside down ordeal for me. I didn't really make anything on that. And like, that can go to your favor in some cases.
And one of the other things as well, especially in our industry, because of the fact that a lot of our equipment is high dollar, then what they end up doing is, if you get a good tax person, they'll do deferred taxing on it, or if I remember, I forget what the actual name of it is. But essentially what it is that the cost of that is broken up, so the tax that you would pay on that piece of equipment, and the cost of it is broken up over the course of a couple years. So this way, like, that's amount of money that you don't have to worry about getting more write-offs for. I forget what they call it, off the top of my head. Basically, keep track of your 1099s, and you always want to save your receipts. If you go out to dinner with somebody, if you're talking shop and you talk about movies and a project of some sort, save that receipt. Guess what? It's a write-off. Mileage, driving, that's a write-off. Has to be for work though. Can't be just, you feeling like froggy and going to the store. It's got to be for work. Clothes.
Is there any mileage tracker apps you use, or?
There's different ones that you can use, but in all honesty, good old paper. And what I end up doing, and what I would always do, is I would actually, at the end of the year, I would go to my invoices, look at all of my invoices, and literally remember where all the projects were, and go on Google Maps and literally go, what was it to and from, how many miles. But that's all different things that you'll end up figuring out on your own for that. But for the most part, you want to make sure that you save your receipts, get yourself a good tax person, somebody that knows taxes that can really help you out with the write-offs. It's going to be worth paying them.
I'm somebody that prides myself on doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not this. Especially like, and the more money you make too, the more difficult things become.
Yep.
Like, I have a budget, like saying, and this is something that I'm living right now, I have a $30,000 budget. That sounds fucking fantastic, right?
Yep.
But think about what a third of that is. Right off the top, 10 grand.
Yep.
Is fucking gone. Right? Like, that 10 grand, I need to be responsible with it and really make sure I'm managing that. Otherwise, I'm gonna owe it. Like, if you get sloppy, you're gonna get hurt.
Yep.
Like, I can't stress that enough, because it's a growing pain that I'm going through. And like, I don't wanna see anybody else go through that. Now, it's manageable because I'm not making tons and tons of money, but I'm glad I got it now.
When you start making a lot more money, it becomes a bigger pain in the ass. You want to be able to account for all the funds. That's pretty much what it turns into.
Because Uncle Sam wants paid.
So get good at Excel spreadsheets.
So you have to fill this form out for
Each company.
that you sign on with.
Unless they're being shifty and really, really beneficial to you, and this is what they call cash money under the table. Why? Because Uncle Sam doesn't know that you're getting this money, and you ain't telling Uncle Sam that you're making this money under the table. So keep that in mind.
Because you'll find that too. They might be like, hey, listen, we know, Dixon, we know your day rate's $1,000. But how about we just give you $800 cash and call it a day? How's that sound?
Yeah, but look, what if you're doing all your sales on a website? They automatically track that. You can't do that under the table ever.
I don't know how you would, because it's all like, if I set it online, there's going to be a paper trail through credit cards or debit card or however.
Yeah, there's going to be a paper.
There's an electronical trail.
Right.
I mean, the benefit is that you guys are lucky that you got the wonderful world of the internet and actual online tracking for your receipts, and
Yeah.
the fact that practically everything's order online anyways, so
Yeah.
digital receipt anyways, but that gives you a gist of everything for that though.
Now, I'll tell you, like, when it comes to sales, I go to these conventions, right? I will offer a cash and carry special.
Yep.
Cash and carry. If you buy this costume, it's $700 cash. If you run it through a card, it's now $850. The price goes up. If you cash and carry, you get it at a cash and carry price.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, I feel a little guilty about that sometimes, like, but then there's other times where I'm like, yo, I just scored a job for 30 grand and I gotta give up 10 grand to
Nope,
it.
don't
Like,
feel-
it levels itself out, right?
Yep, don't
Like,
feel guilty about it, because whenever I flew out west a couple weeks ago, there were gas stations, like legit gas stations. That's how their gas work. It was, hey, $5 a gallon, or you can pay with a card, you're gonna pay $5.50.
because it's a service fee. Yeah, like that's, you know, like I said, I realize what it is, but like at the same time, man, like they text, okay.
Yeah. So that's just a general overview of 1099s. And basically, if you work for a company and you make more than $600 that entire year for them, unless they changed it, and by they, I mean the federal government, but as it stands right now, if you make more than $600 working for a company, they have to send you a 1099 form for your taxes.
Do yourself a favor and have an Excel sheet just with the company's names and just what they're paying you and the dates that you did the gig with their email address. And every time you add a new person, because you might work for 50 different productions in a year if you're busy.
See, that's smart, because all I did was I would just make a folder with all my invoices and just
Yeah.
review my
You know,
invoices.
I just did a spreadsheet, and then when I would get the paperwork at the beginning of the year, I'd go and just green check it. Then this way, because some of them, they may not care about you, and like, oh well, we didn't issue it, and then it because they reported it, it's your responsibility to get that paperwork from them.
Yep.
So because I messed up the one year, was trying to do it on my own, and I submitted my shit and I missed something. And it fucked up my whole thing because I missed, and it was a considerable amount of money. Like, I was like, oh shit, this is actually good. And then we had to go back through and redo everything because I could add more write-offs on because I had more income that had come in. So, yeah, just do yourself a favor and like, if you're gonna do a bunch of work 1099, make sure that you're just keeping up with a spreadsheet.
Yep.
Otherwise, it will hurt you. And like I said, I don't want you guys to have that pain.
Yep.
Because it is pain. Because Uncle Sam, you can get away with a lot in life. But if you owe that motherfucker a penny, he's coming.
Yep. Because after all, even the Joker and the Batman is afraid of the IRS.
They will figure out a way to get it from you.
So that gives you an idea for 1099s and how that functions. Basically, if you make more than $600 working for a company the entire year, then they gotta give you a 1099 form. If it's under $600, they technically do not have to. And if it's under the table, that's just cash money.
Yeah, you just keep your face shut.
So even if they are paying you under $600, you would still have to.
Yep.
No. Okay.
No. Now, where that gets tricky is like, say Dixon hires me, and he's like, "Here, I'm going to pay you $400 for this gig," and then 3 months later he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I have another gig. I'm going to pay you another $400."
Yep.
Then I'm going to get taxed because
Correct.
for the year, it's not per job; it's per a year.
Correct.
And you need to keep track of that because the company that you're working with, they may not be, hey, you realize you went over, so like then you need to mark that down so you're waiting for that paperwork.
So say in January, if I worked for Bob and I only made $100 working for Bob in January, and I get all the way to December, and he gives me a gig for $500, that's $600, even though it's all the way in December.